A woman collapses on a crowded subway platform. 50 people see her fall. How many help? 0. For entire minutes. 50 people walk past her body like she doesn't exist. This happened in New York in January 2026. And it's not an isolated incident. It's a predictable pattern that psychologists have been warning us about for decades. Here's what's terrifying. The more people present during an emergency, the less likely you are to receive help. And in 2026, this effect is more dangerous than ever. Welcome to the Human Mind Daily. Today we're diving into the bystander effect in modern society, why it happens, and most importantly, how you can break free from this dangerous psychological trap. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your brain betrays you in crowds, and you'll know exactly what to do when everyone else is frozen. But first, we need to talk about the murder that launched an entire field of psychology. March 1964. Kitty Genovese is attacked outside her apartment in Queens, New York. The assault lasts over 30 minutes. 38 neighbors hear her screams. Not a single person comes down to help. Only one person even calls the police, and only after the attack is over. Kitty dies from her injuries. The nation was shocked. How could so many people do nothing? Were New Yorkers just cold and heartless? Two psychologists, John Darley and Bib Latané, had a different theory. Maybe it wasn't about being heartless. Maybe it was about being human. They designed an experiment. They put a subject in a room and staged an emergency, a seizure happening over an intercom. Sometimes the subject thought they were alone. Sometimes they thought others could hear too. The results were stunning. When people believed they were the only one who could hear the emergency, 85% took action within 60 seconds. But when they thought 4 other people could also hear, only 31% helped. Same emergency. Same person. The only difference was the presence of others. This became known as the bystander effect, and it's been replicated in hundreds of studies across dozens of countries over the past 60 years. But here's what's critical. This isn't about bad people. This is about how your brain processes social situations. And understanding this can literally save lives. So what exactly happens in your brain when you're part of a crowd witnessing an emergency? 3 distinct psychological processes kick in simultaneously. First, diffusion of responsibility. When you're alone and see someone in trouble, the responsibility is crystal clear. It's all on you. But add more people, and suddenly that responsibility gets divided. Your brain thinks someone else will handle this. Someone more qualified. Someone braver. Someone who isn't me. Second, social influence. You look around to see how others are reacting. If everyone else seems calm, you assume everything must be fine. But here's the trap. Everyone else is doing the exact same thing. Everyone is looking at everyone else, and everyone is faking calmness because they don't want to overreact. It's called pluralistic ignorance. A room full of people who all think something is wrong, but nobody acts because nobody else is acting. Third, evaluation apprehension. You're afraid of being judged. What if this isn't really an emergency? What if you make a scene and it turns out to be nothing? Your brain calculates the social cost. It's safer to do nothing and be wrong than to do something and look foolish. So you freeze. These 3 forces combine to create a psychological paralysis. And in 2026, we've added a 4th factor that makes everything worse. Smartphones. A 2026 study from Stanford University found that people are 43% less likely to help in an emergency if they have their phone out. But it gets worse. When people do notice an emergency while on their phones, their first instinct isn't to help. It's to record. In March 2026, a teenager in Chicago was drowning in Lake Michigan. 15 people stood on the shore filming. Not one person called for help or went in after him. The footage shows people arguing about whether it was a prank, debating whether to get involved, worrying about getting their phones wet. The boy died. Psychologists call this digital distancing. The phone creates a psychological barrier between you and reality. You're watching through a screen, so it doesn't feel real. Plus, recording gives you a role. You're documenting. You're a journalist now. You're doing something, so your brain lets you off the hook for not doing the thing that actually matters. Social media amplifies this. The thought flashes through your mind. This could go viral. That dopamine hit possibility competes with moral obligation. And increasingly, dopamine wins. Okay, so this all sounds pretty depressing. Are we just doomed to watch each other suffer? Actually, no. Bystanders do help under specific conditions. When the emergency is obvious and unambiguous, helping rates jump dramatically. If someone is bleeding, on fire, or clearly unconscious, people act. When you perceive the victim as similar to you, you're more likely to help. Same age, same race, same style of dress. It's tribalism, but it can work in our favor. When someone else breaks the ice by helping first, others pile on. One person taking action gives everyone else permission to act. The spell breaks. And here's something beautiful. When people are educated about the bystander effect, they become significantly more likely to help. Knowledge literally changes behavior. A 2025 study in Germany trained one group about the bystander effect. 6 months later, they staged emergencies. The trained group helped 67% of the time. The control group? 31%. So how do you override your programming? How do you become the person who actually helps? Here are 4 specific strategies you can use starting today. Strategy 1. Assume you're the only one who will help. Don't wait for someone more qualified. Don't look around for permission. Treat every situation like you're alone. Strategy 2. Ignore ambiguity. If your gut says something is wrong, act. Better to be wrong and embarrassed than right and regretful. Embarrassment fades. Guilt doesn't. Strategy 3. If you need help, don't yell help. Point to a specific person and give them a specific task. You in the red shirt, call 911. Direct commands break diffusion of responsibility. Strategy 4. Put your phone away. Seriously, studies show that people who are not holding their phones are twice as likely to notice emergencies and 3 times more likely to help. The bystander effect is real. It's powerful. It's been getting worse. But it's not inevitable. You're not powerless. Every time you break the pattern, you make it easier for others to break it too. You become the person who gives everyone else permission to be human. If this video opened your eyes to how your mind works in social situations, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the Human Mind Daily. Let's build a community of people who actually give a damn. The next time you witness someone in trouble and everyone around you is frozen, remember this video. Remember that your brain is playing a trick on you, and choose to be the exception. Because in a world full of bystanders, the person who takes action isn't a hero. They're just the only one who remembered they're human. And that might be the most important thing any of us can do.